Hi, my name is Laura Beck. I'm with the Outlet Unplugged, and this is Outlet Unplugged presents 10 Questions. I'm here with Adam Butkowski of Ancient Oaks. That's my old stomping ground. It's so great of you to make it. How have you been?
Pretty good. Been very busy. With the family, with Rockin' the Valley. We just changed venues to the Blue Monkey, so it's been a little hectic. That all happened on Monday. Just keep on going. We got stuff coming up. So
How is the Blue Monkey? How is that transition going?
Our first night with Rock Youth was amazing. We had some phenomenal acts on the show. A bunch of young kids, multiple performer bands that were just killer, just absolutely killer.
Oh, great. And that must be great to witness, such promising artists.
Yeah, it makes me a little sad that I didn't start it sooner.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I kind of got into that when I started hosting the Hava Java open mic years ago, which I don't anymore. But just the talent. You get like a 13-year-old kid that traveled 2 hours with his parents to here because for whatever reason they were in town, and he pulls out a saxophone and pulls up his laptop and starts playing to a backing track that he created, and he's just as good as anybody you hear on any record, and it just blows you away the amount of talent under the age of 18 or under the age of 21 that you're not going to see it at a bar. You're not going to see them at any other venue. Unless you fall into a coffee shop somewhere, and that's kind of where I fell in love with it. And that's when Steve Jones asked me to host Rock Youth for him, and I was like, yes, absolutely.
Great, and that's such an outlet too in itself. For young artists to go and play and showcase their talent. But your band, you're currently working with on some new stuff. With your band Ancient Oaks. Which do you prefer, being a solo artist or being in a band? And what is it, and what...
It's two different animals, to be honest. It is so much more fun to play with a band, play with a bunch of guys, which I started experiencing a lot more as I started transitioning away from solo artist into having my fiance Allison Reed come out and sing with me, so we became a duo, and then we started to do that. We were going to do a Tom Petty tribute concert, and that thing just became this huge monster, which we had over 20 artists come out and play for us for free. I mean, these guys were awesome. They came out and donated their time and energy, just kind of to support and show their love for a great guy. But through that, I started going to these open blues jams where a lot of the people that were coming to play were playing all the time. And then all of a sudden you get to hear your songs with guys with drums behind you, with bass behind you, with a guy lead lick behind you. And all of a sudden it just kind of broadens the horizon. You have a little bit more fun, and then you go more and more and more. These guys remember your songs, and you play it again, and then it just and you're like, whoa, oh wow, that's where it can be. But at the same aspect, some of my favorite times, me and Allison used to go and busk over on the south side of Bethlehem.
Oh wow.
There's a church. There's a church right across the street from the public house on 3rd Street or 4th Street. And the acoustics on it, because they have the big archway doorways that kind of come down. So we just sit in the stairs right in front of that and just play with just a plain old acoustic guitar and sing, and that alone is just another aspect. I think it's just kind of they're both awesome.
Oh, that's great. How is the sound between the two projects, solo and being in Ancient Oaks?
Well, the solo stuff can be it can vary. I can kind of take songs in different directions. As Allison said, I have about 21 versions of Windshield. This is the first song I ever wrote, and it was just something that kept on developing over time. But if I go out and play by myself, I have a version that I play. If I have a version I go out and play with her and I have a version that I play. If I go out and play with the band, I have another version that I play. So
that's kind of a similar thing that Jeff Buckley would do.
Yes.
He would never, play the same song.
Mm-hmm.
The same. You always play it differently. So.
Yeah. And I have a song. Done Wrong. I wrote 10+ years ago with a friend of mine, Trevor Henson, and it was based upon me listening to a lot of politics radio, and listening to all these guys and just thinking, oh man, we're just screwed. Like it's like, oh man, you just don't want to. You just want to turn it off because you just don't want to know. Then if you don't know, you don't know. And I was listening to it for a while, and this phrase came into my head: the dawn of wrong. This is the dawn of just some wrong stuff's gonna happen. And I went over to my buddy's house and I said, I got an idea for a song. He was like, well, what's your idea? It's like, actually, all I really have is a phrase. And in 2 hours, we had an entire song. So in that aspect, that song can be, we've changed the last verse changes, or the last crescendo of it all kind of changes to what's going on nowadays. So I might have been talking more about what was going on back then. And it kind of transitioned to maybe I drop a Trump in the wall comment.
So you're playing on March 23rd.
Yep.
At King Koffee.
Yeah.
Our favorite coffee place.
Hey, Andy called. I said sure.
Yeah.
No problem.
And you're playing with Jordan Said.
Who I've actually had on Rocky.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And phenomenal.
Yes.
Yep.
So you're really excited.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
fantastic! And that show, starts at 8 to 11, and
right across the street from the big church on Main Street.
Yes, yes, and it's right near the Triangle. You mentioned that you were working on some new material. Will you be playing any of that? Will we get a?
I could.
Yeah.
I could. Yeah, I have a brand new song. My Dearest Father. Allison wrote a letter to her dad. He passed years ago. Just kind of as a, I told her, we should write a song. Maybe I use music in writing songs. A lot of my stuff is very, very somewhere personal or something. So I said it's good medicine. She was struggling. She was just struggling with it a little bit. So she kind of just blotted a bunch of stuff down in a notebook. And I took it and I ran with it and I made it into a song that she at least approved of. So that I could do something like that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Definitely would love to hear it. What typically are your songs about? You kind of already discussed that a little bit.
Well,
but maybe further detail.
As soon as I get enough money in my pocket to actually start recording an EP, it would be called Love, Life, and Family. That is the epitome of what my songs have been written about. My Dearest Father, Oh Mother, The Dawn of Wrong, well, that was not so much, but Windshield. That was about the night I met Allison. So it's all been based around my life, love, family, and that's pretty much 90% of all music to begin with. So I thought that was an appropriate title.
Yeah, so you definitely wear your heart on your sleeve and put it out there.
In music, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allison would say otherwise. When I'm singing and performing, that's one way. But in my personal life, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Not as much as I should.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. When I used to do a lot of poetry, and I definitely just poured my heart out into it.
Yep.
But in my everyday life, it's kind of, as Andy can attest, it's like pulling nails sometimes with me. But
you put a guitar in my hand, I start playing, and I have this idea in my head. All of a sudden, I'm saying, I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, right. It's very therapeutic.
It is.
And how long have you been writing and playing music?
Well, I've only been writing now for the H and Oaks and everything like that about 3 years ago. Trevor, my best friend Trevor, moved to Florida, and he was my music. He was the musician. I was the singer. So whenever I wanted to write something, he would always be there with the music, and he would always play it if I were to go and perform. So he moved, and so I had to make a decision what I wanted to do. I just recently gotten divorced, so my dad says, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, well, I was thinking about getting back into music. He's like, well, I have this old Ibanez. I tried to learn how to play it. I just couldn't do it. Do you want it? So I was like, yeah, sure. 2 weeks later, I met Allison. I went home, or after work the next day, sat down and wrote the first song, which became Windshield. So yeah, I mean, seriously, probably 3 years, but I started singing for bands in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't really even know I had a musical note in my body until I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And I went out to a bar that had karaoke, and I went and sang. I was like, I kind of sing.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, you know, it was a weird thing. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. That's great to discover your hidden talents that you never knew you had.
No, I mean, I was a sports guy. I played baseball up through high school, and I thought that's what I was gonna do, and then I busted my knee.
Did it ruin your baseball career?
Yeah, no, yeah. I was a catcher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no crouching for me.
No.
No more crouching.
No. And that's 100% of what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, at least you did discover, your talent for music, and you work, as you said, with Rock in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how has that been, and can you talk more about it and what you do there?
Well, Steve Jones started about 4 years ago. It was just an idea, and he had an opportunity to do it. So he started it. So I'm coming back in the tail end of it all, but it's become a family. I mean, there's quite a few of us out there that do shows for him. Earl Andrews. There's a few others. Like this kid JT just started joining me on Rock Youth, which is great talent. He played the show at least a dozen times. So there's a lot of people out there that do stuff for him, and it's become something kind of. It was a little bit different, but I was already starting to do something very similar with my original music showcase that I started doing at Hava Java. So I was somewhat familiar. So I was doing interviews and having them play, and doing interview questions and having them play. So it was very similar to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It was just getting used to a camera guy. Steve doing the board and stuff like that, and tossing it back and forth, and making sure you had everything right, and make sure when you're in a little coffee shop, the microphone picks up everything. When you're in a large venue and everything's mic'd and everything like that, and you go and ask the drummer a question, and you don't throw the mic in his face, nobody hears it. And you look very silly.
So it's like trial and error, period.
Yes, and it's all live. It's all that was keeping my construction worker mouth to a parental level. It took a little. It takes a little.
There's more professionalism.
Well, yeah, you can't you can't stub your toe and drop an F-bomb because they frown upon that, You fudge. So yeah, it's been great, and it's with this new venue at Blue Monkey, it's just gonna it definitely gave new life and a new breath into the show, into the Rock and Valley, to keep us moving forward.
And how has the reception been for Rock and Valley?
Well, our first night at Rock Youth at the Blue Monkey, we packed it. I hope they don't expect us to do it every Monday, but I mean, it was amazing. And Craig and his partners over there were awesome. Just to say yes in the first place. But I mean, they definitely rolled out the carpet for us, and hopefully we don't disappoint them.
Right. What would you say is your main goal in being a musician and writing music?
It's always been about just the joy of it. I made a comment. I know you're familiar with Glenn Henzer. Okay.
Yes.
People have their Dylan, people have their Elvis, whatever. He's my Dylan.
Yeah.
If I always said if I could be like him and play like him in any way and never make a dime for music, I would die a happy man.
Oh yeah.
Is it nice to be able to go out and play and get a couple $100 in your pocket? Of course it is. But I'll go out and play for free because I just like to play. Yeah, it's not. It is what it is, and what it becomes. I don't have a point in the future where I'm trying to hit. I just kind of take it as it may.
Okay. Kind of like live in the moment and.
Yeah. I mean, it's me and Allison has twin boys. I have my son. Between her family, my family, and everything else, the balancing and the juggling of that all can be very complicated. Not giving too much attention to myself and doing music and being too selfish.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, not feel like I'm missing out on stuff. I guess that's a bad turn of phrase, but not that I'm missing out on anything, but just. You just got it's a weird balance, and it's very odd because I you get that, like most musicians, you just get that burning sensation inside you where you just want, you just go play. Yeah. And Allison said, hey, pump the brakes.
Yeah. Well, it's different priorities. I mean, you have families and kids involved, and some of these younger musicians, they don't have that, so they have the ability.
Just go. They just make sure their schoolwork's done, and they get But what's nice is the boys are getting older now. The boys, her boys will be 7 this year. Mine will be 5. I mean, my son, we spent 3 hours at Guitar Center last Saturday.
Oh.
and he wanted to play every drum set they had set up.
Oh, nice.
So it's nice that I can share that with them, and then so they can come a little bit into my world or our world, because Allison as well. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because they're seeing it through my eyes for a little while.
Nice. From your experience with Rocking the Valley, you get to work with tons of local musicians, and from that experience, what would you say is the current state of the Lehigh Valley local music scene?
It's the way I see it, like it's completely different from when I especially in my early 20s. In my early 20s, you had party bands. I mean, they're still out there. They still play the places, but I didn't experience as much as I'm experiencing now. There's so much out there. So much out there. There's a band, Semicircle. Both with C's, which is a collective of a couple different bands. My one buddy, Aiden, and his buddy Chad, they're in a band called Banshee, but they also sit down with this, and they are like a Native American jam band.
Oh wow!
Just stuff like that, like play with different keyed flutes and wood flutes and stuff like that they're playing, and then you get who else? I mean, yeah, I'll draw a blank. But I mean, it runs the gambit, and if you go from the Easton scene to the Bethlehem scene. And to the Allentown scene, which is slowly growing itself back. It was definitely lacking, but with what Shanty on 19th is doing with their jams and a couple other places, it's coming back. You got the coffee houses that are keeping it alive. Hava Java,
Coffee House Without Limits.
Coffee House Without Limits. King Koffee. They keep the music scene alive enough. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. We used to go and see 10 bands play at a Grange. Nobody even knows what Granges are anymore. There's these buildings in the middle of parks. Sometimes not always in parks, but they would literally have 10 bands come in. You pay like $10, and you just basically pack like a VFW style venue with a bunch of rowdy kids, and it would be it'd be either metal or punk or whatever it was.
Or at
it didn't matter. It did not matter if you were into this. You just went, and it was wild. I don't know if they really do that anymore.
I remember like going to fire halls.
It's basically the same. It's basically the same thing. I mean,
or churches like.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. It's just it's wild. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and it just get yourself on Facebook and look at some of the Lehigh Valley music scene sites that are on there. There's lots going on all over.
That's great.
So I'm sorry. So you think it's pretty strong right now in terms?
I think it's on it's on an upturn for sure. There's more to come. Yeah. Especially what you got Gerard doing out in Bethlehem with the underground scene. I mean, I just got into the fold with the First Friday stuff that he does. You got multiple venues multiple artists across the whole town playing all on the same night. That's incredible. I mean, yeah, I don't remember there being much of that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got into the music scene late.
Yeah.
It's definitely, back when I was growing up, you had Van Joe's Crocodile Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that, and that's or Main Gate. Those were that. Van Joe's is closed. Crocodile Rock is no longer even standing.
Yeah.
Main Gate, it's still kicking. but if you're not into that scene, then where you go? And it's growing, and a lot of it's awesome. These restaurants and these venues, bars, restaurants, coffee houses, they appreciate it enough to keep it going and building it, and then you got guys like Rock in the Valley that kind of push them out there and get it out and beyond. I know there's an Australian company that Steve's talking with that could expand our push of the music from this area to global.
Oh wow.
So Rock in the Valley could get pushed to global. The shows that we do could be broadcast. Just so we do it live on Facebook. But they have the capability of getting it out even further.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wow, that'll change a lot of things.
We'll see where it goes. I have minimal information. I just heard some of the whispers.
Yeah.
And it just sounded very, very cool. Very cool.
It does. Are there any upcoming gigs besides the one that we had mentioned, or any albums coming out?
Hopefully I get enough back from the tax money. Maybe I can get an EP going, and that would definitely be a push. I've made quite a few friends over the last few years that are in the industry that I can reach out to, and that is the goal for us this year is to get something recorded. At least for posterity.
Yeah.
and once I get them recorded, then I can move on to them. I songs come to me, I still am writing new stuff but when I first started, man, they came out quick, and I was charged. But then then we were polishing and polishing and polishing and polishing. And I'm done polishing. I need to get them recorded, but I don't want to half butt it. If I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right, and that costs money.
Yeah.
You pay. You get whatever you paid for. I learned that with a really bad tattoo a long time ago.
Where can we find your music and purchase it?
I have nothing for purchase.
Okay.
Everything I have recorded are either videos or live recordings, and you can find them all on our websites, www.theancientoaksmusic.weebly.com. You can find Facebook at The Ancient Oaks. I think that Allison takes care of Instagram and Twitter, but we have a YouTube page that I'm starting to develop. So go for it, take it.
Yeah.
It's there. But soon, very soon. We're hoping by the end of summer if everything goes right.
Awesome. If you had to choose between only singing or only playing guitar, which one would you choose?
I would sing.
Sing.
I would sing. I would sing. That's where I cut my teeth. I would sing. Yep.
Great.
Yeah, when it comes down to a jam, and I'll step back and be the singer every time.
Awesome. Okay, last question. I know we said it was 10 questions, but it turns out to always be a little bit more.
This one goes to 11.
Okay. After this, you're going to be playing the song for us. Can you tell us the title and a little bit of the backstory?
All right. We wanted a new song. Well, I kind of already told you a little bit of the backstory. But yeah, we were in Nashville for the Josie Awards this past September. And I had taken one of the notebooks with me, and it happened to be the one that had Allison's letter to her dad in it. So I just kind of sat down and was just screwing around a little bit with some chords and stuff like that, and it started developing into this phrase that basically just the top of the letter, my dearest father, comma, it just went from there. So and it just there's a lot of things that only me and Allison know in that song, because of just her telling me things about her dad, and I can relate. So I can relate to it. She can relate to it. If people like the song, that's great, and it's awesome. But it is immensely personal song. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it now. Okay. Thank you so much for coming out, and it's been such a pleasure, Adam. This has been the Outlet Unplugged presents 10 Questions with Adam Butkowski of Ancient Oaks. Stop by King Koffee, March 23rd. Show starts at 8 p.m. Adam goes on at 9, and Saeed goes on at 8?
10.
10?
10.
Okay, Saeed goes on at 10. So hopefully we will see you soon. And as always, keep it loud and local. This has been Laura Beck. And Adam Butkowski and Andy Harrier from the Peanut Gallery.
Just sitting here watching this.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.